Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Cupid Parasite, continuing Shelby's route. Guys, didn't we have an agreement that August had its shenanigans and we would stop this bullshit now that it's September? To be fair, it's really nothing bad. It's just more irritating. Because, like, apparently, I just got 3,000 texts because my phone for the last couple of days has been, like, dropping signal, and then you, like, you know, put it on airplane mode and come back, and you're like, okay, there it goes. And then it's just apparently every time my landlord's been trying to call, because he sent me a text at, like, 2:30. I didn't get it for, like, over an hour. And then I got 3,000 texts at the same time. And he's like, I've been trying to call you. I'm having painters in to paint the water stain on the roof. And I'm like, why? For the love of God, why? I'm like, I don't really care that it's there. Can we not? I just put all my shit back up. I'm going to have to take it all down. And I'm going to tell you something. I put my shit back up and I was like, does this go here? Where does this go? And I don't know if it's all situated in the place that it originally was. It looks fine. But now I got to take it all motherfucking down again. I'm so mad. I was like, I don't really care if there's a water stain. You can, well, it's like part of the warranty thing. I'm like, fine, I guess you really want this fucking water stain painted over where you could just fucking do it some other time. Or, hi, someday when I move out, or, you know, I'll get white paint and I'll do it my motherfucking self. You don't need to pay someone to fucking do it. Do you want me to fucking do it? I'll fucking do it. It's white fucking paint. Just go get me a tiny little thing of white paint. Like primer. Here you go. Here's a tiny little thing of white primer and a little brush. Just pay for the paint and the primer and all that. Sweet, I'll do it myself. You don't have to pay professionals to do it. It's gonna cost you nothing to give me a bucket of tiny, itty bitty little sample size thing of white paint and just slap that. I'll be fine. It'll be fine. Besides, from everything that I know, like, well, okay, which is nothing, that like painting over a water stain, it does nothing. The water stain's just gonna seep through the paint anyway, so what the fuck is the point of paying people to do it? But that's so fucking irritating. I was like, I really don't want somebody in my motherfucking house. And then, I mean, granted, I will be here technically the day he said someone was going to come, but I was like, I'm not going to be here. Nope. Because that week is the week that I've got a doctor appointment, and then my mom's going to be here, and then I've got a wedding to go to. So I'm like, no, I don't want to be dealing with a doctor appointment and my mom showing up and then someone's painting my roof. And then I'm like, no. You know what I mean? Also, I really don't want anyone painting in my house because of my bird. Like, he'll be fine, but it's also like, great, what if they're painting and then the smell of I can't keep an eye on him because I won't fucking be here for a couple, you know what I mean? Like, he's going to be alone for a couple of days. You're going to have to be alone for a couple of days. It's like abuse. It's bird abuse. You're going to be stuck in a cage by yourself. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be sad, but you'll be fine. You'll have plenty of food. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. But, like, it's not like I'm going for a week. I'll be going for, like, 2 days or something. But still, it's like, I don't want them doing that, you know? I gotta be careful of, like, the paint fumes and the smell. Make sure it doesn't linger downstairs. So, like, so that's gonna be fun. It's gonna be hard to record while it's dissipating. Well, I mean, they're coming the week after I get back, maybe, or whatever. And I'm like, I really just don't want someone in my fucking house again. Sweet fucking Jesus, I want this to end. But, you know, whatever. But on the bright side, I got a package today that I had to sign for, and the UPS guy was extremely fucking hot. So, like, I was like, hello, hi. You're not the norm. Like, there's always a different UPS guy. I think I've seen at least 3 different guys. This guy, I'm like, you're new. Please deliver all my packages. Sweet fucking Jesus. I might have to actually get dressed up and not look like a hobo when I answer the fucking door the next time. But, you know, he was laughing at my door sign, so that's a plus. You know, he's like, I've got a delivery, so I'm good, right? Because my sign says, like, no soliciting unless you're I'm like, no, you're fine. And I'm like, you didn't even have to bring wine or cookies. Like, you know, like, oh my God. But I'm like, why are you so, like, you're ridiculously good looking and you're charming? Stop it. Stop it. And actually, don't. Please come back. Like, now I'm going to be like, I need everything delivered. No. You have to ship it UPS because I need to make sure. And with a signature required because I need to see if this man shows up in my house again. Like, I feel like it's the first time he's been here. You know what I mean? I mean, who knows? Because, like, I normally don't have to sign for stuff, but I'm like, oh, dear God. Anyway, back to Shelby's route. Oh, I need a drink. After dinner, we settled onto the sofa to watch the news. It had been a while since we'd turned on the TV. We usually caught up on news via YouTube or Instagram and went to the theater for movies. The broadcast felt somewhat refreshing until a familiar word caught my attention. I was like, the second we said we sat down to watch the news, I was like, trouble. Oh. Worldwide, affluent, wealthy, moneyed Parasite. That's what she's looking for. Hiya! We're reporting live from Diamore Paradise. Not reporter. It says not reporter. Because you do news 1 to 10, that's so funny. The newly opened Diamore Paradise has been receiving quite a lot of attention. There are now plans to expand it further. See, it really does look like a pear. The plan involves land reclamation past the cape of the island to increase the number of facilities. Rumors suggest they'll be adding a theme park or an aquarium. We can certainly expect more attractions now. An expansion plan, huh? And they sure do like variety in their business plan. Wait, why do you look pale? Isn't that area where the temple of Mom and Dad are located? And temples... oh. I think they did mention that when we met the other day. Are these temples that important to the gods? Well, here's the thing. You don't know where they are, but I guess it's that area that you think and you thought you saw something under the water. And we were looking at that little peninsula thing, you know, when she's thought, oh, maybe that's where they are. Yes, they are. Dad always said there's no greater joy than feeling the faith of the people. Could you, though, if you were going to build, if somebody went in there, they'd be like, whoa, whoa, don't you have to do like you'd have to do a geographical survey. You would have to have divers go down and make sure that, like, okay, there's no, like, coral reefs or anything weird in the, you know what I mean? I feel like, especially if you're doing a man-made island, you would probably have to have divers go down just like you would, like, inland, like, oh, wait, no, this is a protected animal right there. You can't cut down this tree in this habitat, so too bad you can't build here. You know what I mean? Like, so I would assume the ocean is the same way, you know? So I would think you would have to have someone's going to dive, and someone would find the temples then and be like, these may have sunk, but they're historical, or you can't build here. You know what I mean? I mean, granted, he's got enough fucking money, so with enough fucking money, you could be like, fuck the bald eagles and ancient temples, fuck history and wildlife and trees, whatever, peace out, and then, you know, build your fucking parking garage. I mean, we need parking garages, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, like, parking garages are bad, but I'm just saying, like, we don't need to make animals extinct for a parking garage, we can figure it out. Anyway, that's why in ancient times they would descend to the human realm to help the people. I'm not sure when, but at some point, they stopped directly interfering with humans. I see. And this Greek mythology thing is deep. But aren't there lots of temples remaining in Greece? Aren't those enough? I thought so too, but Dad has a lot of pride. If he knows they're intentionally trying to destroy it, he'll definitely get angry. What do I do about this? Let Dad get angry. He's gonna smite Eli and fix all your problems. Just saying. Let him throw lightning. Oh my god, Eli Omar struck by lightning dies. News at 11. Well, between 1 and 10, so no. Not gonna be news at all. Done. You know? I was reminded of my dad's previous fits. If land reclamation ended up burying his temples, he'd unleash his anger on a monumental scale. Directly at Eli Omar. Just saying. Hold on. Oh, that's what Hurricane Catherine's about. I knew she was coming into play here. And when Mom gets mad, she gets really mad. On TV, footage of ships dumping gravel into the sea showed the island expansion was already underway. Really? Again, nobody had to check. You just dump shit into the ocean and, like, you didn't have to, I feel like there's other preparation. We'll just dump gravel and make no. Wouldn't you have to put up, like, kind of, like, retaining walls or something so that the gravel doesn't just, like, I'm dumping gravel and it just goes floating into the ocean? Like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure that man-made island is stable. Oh, I don't know. I'm not a structural engineer, but this doesn't seem safe or right. Like, what do I do? Please don't let it be the same location as Mom and Dad's temples. Actually, let it be the same location. But my prayers seem to fall on deaf ears. Why would you not? I mean, I get it. I don't want my parents' temples destroyed. Yes, but if it's that, then my parents are going to get fucking pissed. And you know who they're going to take it out on? The motherfucker who tried to bury their temples. Who is also your big problem. So, good for everyone. I'm just saying, this might not be a bad thing. The next morning, a torrential downpour accompanied by strong winds confined us to our homes. What a big hurricane. Yeah, all the transportation is stopped and the roads are closed. But last night's weather forecast said it would be sunny today. When was the last time recent weather forecasts were this off? Shelby, equally puzzled, turned on the TV for the news. Hurricane... Is that... Well, okay. They're going to call it Hurricane Catherine, but the screen flashed with a breaking news alert about the hurricane. This is a report on the sudden Hurricane Catherine. Yeah, but also, I'm pretty sure Catherine was the name our mother used, so that's, Catherine is localizing its assault on Lost York and has brought flooding to an island, Diamor Paradise. See? All transportation's being affected. Diamor Paradise flooded. Did you see the shape of the clouds on the news just now? Yes, and had a strange shape for sure. It seemed to be overcasting only over Lost York and Paradise. This has to be caused by the land reclamation over the temples. Huh? When Mom gets mad, she fires off Hurricane Catherine, and the related places away flood, and the related places always flood. I remember the last time Dad fell in love with a vacuum cleaner. Lost York had seen rain then too, but since her anger was directed at Dad, the weather hadn't been as severe. But Mom, being the goddess of beauty, holds great power among the gods of the deconsentes, or whatever it's called. We should never make her angry. The gods must never be disregarded. It'd be even worse if Dad got angry. What do I do? Paradise Island is being targeted with floods. It's obvious that Mom's mad about the land reclamation. I see. But is it even possible for you to contact them to stop the storm? Yeah, I'm just going to text them. But also, again, you're upset that Eli's being targeted by your parents being pissed. You're not friends with him! You hate him! I mean, okay. I get it, right? So before it was like, this bastard's trying to steal our business, and they kind of make you dislike, you're like, I don't know how we're gonna end up cheating on our husband with, I don't know that that's where it's going, but I mean, like, come on, they feel like they set you up for that, right? So if that's where they were leading, let's just go with that assumption. That's my assumption right now, okay? And like, but it's like, they're not making him likable. So like, how are you gonna fall in love with him? It's not like, we're just at an impasse and like, he wants to buy your company and then whatever. And like, where Ray was, kind of annoying and obnoxious, but you weren't like, fuck you, twat. You were like, this guy's fucking weird. Like, he was just weird. So all the things that he said that were kind of annoying and douchey, you were like, well, it's just because the man's a robot. So like, whatever. Basically Ryuki in another body, okay? So like, kind of, and maybe that's why it's hard, because I didn't hate Ray as much. I don't hate Eli, but like, no matter what Ray did, you're like, it's just the man doesn't know how to be a human. There's something up with that. Eli is very good at being shady, and you're like, yeah, I don't know how we're going to fall in love with him because he seems to be doing shady shit. Like, sure, I'm still down, but like, I don't know how she would turn it around. You know what I mean? But then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, his whole island's going to flood. That's terrible. Why is that terrible suddenly? I mean, it's because she's too fucking nice, but I don't know why they'd be concerned. They're like, well, I mean, not that I want the whole man's whole business to flood, but this does work out to our benefit. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they're kind of missing that, but it's just a little bizarre. I mean, I guess it's because they're nicer than I am, but I mean, I'm not saying like, oh, yay, I want everything. I want him to suffer completely. No. But it's like, but he kind of deserves it, so he can't do the land reclamation. He can't build over their temples. And if this throws him a little off kilter, it's not a bad thing for us. It's going to take him a while to rebuild everything. So I'm not going to be too mad about it. Because he's kind of, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But it's like, oh no, he's going to suffer. He's not our friend. So, like, I don't know why they're so concerned about him right now. It's a little weird. This makes it easier to believe that you'll fall in love with him at some point because you're so concerned about his business and shit, which is, again, weird for, like, how flip-floppy we seem to be. I don't know. Not that she was ever like, fuck this guy, and now she's like, oh no, poor guy, but it just seems weird that he's kind of, they make him like, so you're supposed to be like, fuck this guy, and then now it's like, oh no, his business. Well, not really sure how you want me to feel about him. Aside from intrigued at how he's a lobster. I'm just saying. But anyway. Oh, right. Let me try calling them. Recalling that Mom and Dad had recently gotten smartphones, I dialed their numbers. After a few rings, Mom answered. Eros! Mom, are you okay? I saw on TV about the plans to do land reclamation over where your temple is. Yes, our temple's got buried under. That's why I'm protesting with the hurricane right now. So this hurricane was your doing after all. How dare they bury my beautiful temple? It's unforgivable. That may be true, but I wish she didn't cause hurricanes if she were filing a complaint. As if she were filing a complaint to a call center or something. I was hoping that they'd make some underwater tunnel to make it a beautiful sightseeing spot. But what happened was them dumping gravel. Unforgivable. I have to cause a hurricane to put a stop to this. And now they've started dumping gravel on Mars's temple too. Oh, Mars, comfort me. Mom unloaded all her grievances and then abruptly hung up. It was clear from her tirade that her temple was being desecrated and she'd summoned the hurricane in retaliation. The thing is, again, he knows what he's doing because it's not like you just started dumping gravel and you didn't realize what was under there. You had to have had divers go down beforehand to make sure that shit was... You know what I mean? This is not like, you don't just... Again, I guess it's because rich people don't have to follow rules, but... I'm pretty sure you wouldn't just be like, I'm just going to build an island here and then be done with... You know what I mean? You need to know the depth... I mean, I guess you already knew from the first one, but also... Weird that you were able to just dump on build in that spot and you didn't have anything in the geograph, so you wouldn't have already known those temples were there. Okay. I don't know. I know I shouldn't get hung up on logic in the plot of this game. You know... Bumblepig and all. Just the best thing I can think of is why we just have to throw out logic, but it still bothers me that it's like he would know those temples were there because he would have had to... You didn't do any kind of surveying before you were like, right here, and then you jump gravel? What if there were, like, I just, you know? I don't know. Her temple must have been the one they buried yesterday. So, does that mean that the land reclamation has to stop? And that'll stop the hurricane. Shelby seemed confused, yet he made an effort to comprehend the situation. The notion that Mom had triggered a hurricane seemed absurd from a human perspective, yet Shelby was trying to believe it. Gathering my courage, I nodded in agreement. Yes, if they halt the land reclamation and safeguard Mom's temple, she'll cease her wrath. Mom's creating the hurricane as a form of protest. I hope this will deter the expansion plans. Expansion plans. I'm not sure that will be enough to halt their plans. Shelby voiced his doubts as he checked the news on his phone. Announcement from Diamor Paradise Island. Flooding forced us to temporarily close, but repairs have been completed. Please come and visit us. There was a news on the official account of Diamor Paradise. Look at this. They've already completed the repairs. Really? Yeah, see, that sounds sus. Think somebody who's like a magical lobster deity would be able to, like, magically complete repairs? I peered at Shelby's phone screen, incredulous. Reports of flood damage were widespread, but they claimed that their efficient drainage system had resolved the issue. See, this sounds more like magic. Do you also see the lobster in the image? not just the little lobster on the official DMR parody, but in the picture that they're showing, there's a vague lobster ghost. So I'm just saying, there's something so fucking suspicious. Minor damage, all staff safe. They promise to ensure the current guests have a safe and enjoyable stay. That's impressive. The news of the flooding was alarming, but they've already managed the water situation. And that's the power of Omar Holdings. I don't think it's it's very suspicious. And they've anticipated all potential disasters and devised solutions in advance. That would be intelligent, though. Like planning, especially when you're going to build a fucking island in an ocean, to be like, let's prepare. Especially like, it's kind of like when you are in California, you prepare like your buildings and things. We have to prepare for earthquakes and mudslides and fires and flooding and all of that. And you know, on the East Coast, you're like, hurricanes. And in the central area, you're like, well, you're fucked because you got tornadoes and like that. Nothing's going to fix that shit. That you're just storm cellars, basements, you know, but like you prepare knowing the shit weather that you're going to deal with. So I'm building an island. And even though there's not really a lot of hurricanes on the West Coast, it's more East Coast that gets the hurricanes. It's not that it hasn't happened or can't happen. You know what I mean? Plus, you're still going to get storms. So, hey, we're on an island. You want to have proper drainage in case you get a heavy storm. Or a freak fucking tsunami that's coming in. Or you piss off a goddess. That kind of a thing. I'm almost certain that they'll proceed with the land reclamation. Also, this is not really working on, like, normal West Coast logic. It's Lost York, so it's kind of almost like... It looks more like it's West Coast, the way the map looked. But if they've had hurricanes before, like when Mom got angry, whatever, it's like, okay, they're working on, like, just United States logic. Where, oh, yeah, hurricanes, and, like, whatever. So, this is not normal East Coast, West Coast logic. This is game logic. So, yes, we're going to have to go with they probably have hurricanes in this area that have happened on occasion, or heavy storms. He would be prepared for shit like that. But if we're going with that logic that you're preparing, like, oh, we're going to do drainage and we're preparing for inclement weather and storms and stuff, then why wouldn't they also be doing the proper surveying and know that those temples were there before they dumped sand on them, or before they originally built the first fucking pear-shaped island? You know what I'm saying? So, like, some logic about reality and another, and I don't know anything about building a fake island, but I'm just saying, I just don't think you could be like, right here, and then just dump sand. Pretty sure somebody's got to be like, okay, let's check, and let's go down and make sure that there's nothing going on down there. Wait, there is a tiny bush, and there's and a fish that lives there, and it's going extinct, so you can't build right here because it's that fish's particular home. So you gotta, you know what I mean? You know, there's always going to be something, so I don't think you can just point to a spot on a map and just magically do whatever the fuck you want. You know? Again, I guess unless you're rich. But, like, I just feel like it's a little weird that you're... Anyway. But yet he prepared for hurricanes, because that logic tracks, but not surveying, because that doesn't apply. You know what I'm saying? You can't... I know I'm nitpicking, but it just strikes me as odd. But anyway, something sus about this man. He's a lobster, so. I'm almost certain they'll proceed with the land reclamation. What to do? If they also cover up Dad's temple, they'll face far more serious consequences than mere floods. Next on their list was the location of Dad's temple. If they ended up burying the Mars temple, I dreaded the extent of Dad's fury. We gazed through a crack in the curtains at the tempestuous sky. The storm was already strong, so what would happen if Dad's wrath was invoked? The wrath of the gods. Shelby mumbled to himself. He's like, this might help us out. I'm just saying, start looking at the bright side. Maybe Dad will strike down Eli with lightning. That's a little drastic for this game, but at the same time not. He wasn't making light of the situation. His tone suggested a deep, unwavering belief in the existence of such divine fury. I mean, there's no time like being in the midst of divine fury to start believing in it. Counterattack. Oh, that's interesting. That doesn't bode well. It bodes interestingly. Due to the wrath of Hurricane Catherine, Lost York had been paralyzed for 2 consecutive days. Fortunately, the weather improved, allowing us both to return to work. Could you imagine? Oh my god, look at these poor trees and shit. Look, even that tree's been knocked down. Aw, the broken tree and the... Aw, Mom. That hurricane really did a number. Parts of 2nd Avenue are still underwater, according to the news. Mom's hurricane was this powerful? Spacey, that shop's windows are broken. It's better to walk on this side. Yeah, thank you. Due to the fallen trees, our usual commute by car was impossible. Instead, Shelby and I took the subway to work. Surprising. Okay, wait. If 2nd Avenue's underwater, the subway would also be underwater because it's literally under fucking ground. I'm just saying. Subway is under. Street is above. Street above is underwater. That's all. The subway's underwater too. You mean you were traveling by submarine tube? Okay, like, I mean, there's drainage in subways for thing, but still, if the street is flooded, guess where it's draining into? Because of Mom, much of Lost York had come to a standstill. I'm gonna guess it's not. And, like, underwater is a little extreme for probably what's happening, but the subway, having been inundated, had only just resumed service. Yeah, because again, that shit's got to drain. Although it was operational, it was far from comfortable. It's probably all wet and moist. And it's packed again today. It seems like nobody can commute by car, just like us. I'd say it's 60% more crowded than usual. This level of congestion was atypical for Lost York, and I found myself struggling to keep my balance. Oh, I'm sorry! I apologized when a sudden jolt of the subway caused me to bump shoulders with the person next to me. There was hardly any room to move. In the midst of my confusion, Shelby pulled me closer to him. Are you okay? Let's move this way. Thank you. Shelby carved out a space for me in the crowded subway, offering some much-needed comfort. Relieved, I leaned in to whisper to Shelby, hoping not to disturb those around us. I hope the office is intact. With the way things are, let's just hope that everyone's safe. You're right. That's our primary concern. My mind filled with visions of the hurricane ravaging our office overnight. I hope the sign isn't broken. I hope my computer isn't broken. Okay, no, maybe not, because this one says the sign now is above the, because remember last time I was like, is this to fucking tell you what they are? And this one says computer isn't broken. I feel like the sign would be the sweet one. So, I'm guessing those aren't, because the spicy one is not always on the left. So, but again, I've never noticed the blue bar and the pink bar to notice that they're, I don't know which I feel like the sign, because my computer is a little, well, actually the computer would be more important than, you can fix the sign, your computer has a lot of work on it, so maybe the computer's better. Yeah, it's my computer, okay. Let's see, now this has the suite above it, let's see. I hope my computer hasn't been affected by the power outages. It contains my schedule, client details, and member information I collected when I was an advisor. I worried that everything I had built up through my work would suddenly vanish. I couldn't bear the thought of losing years' worth of hard work. We always back everything up on a highly secure server. Your data should be safe. And even if it's lost, you still retain the experience and knowledge. It's not a total loss, right? Yeah, okay, so that means nothing then. Okay. I was like, does that really fucking tell you? It does not. Spicy then is always on the left, sweet is always on the right, text-wise, but that's not the choice, because that was the spicy choice. Okay. Like, seriously, the last time was like the first time I noticed, and I was like, what the fuck? If that's pertinent, someone will have told me, but okay. But no, it means nothing. So, good. Because I was like, that kind of ruins it, though. I mean, it does make it easy if you want to go through and just choose all the spicy things to get the spice. You know what I mean? But, like, especially because when you're going back through, it doesn't show you which one you've chosen. You have to know. Which, I mean, is the point of the guide. But if you weren't using a guide, you'd be like, I don't fucking remember which one I chose. You know what I mean? Anyway. You're right, thank you. His words, confident and optimistic, put my fears to rest. Shelby had weathered many storms as the company president. His composure in this crisis reflected his depth as a person. So then that means I don't feel stupid then. Like, I was like, oh my god, I feel so dumb if it's been telling me this whole time which one's which. Nah, I don't feel stupid now for not noticing. I mean, a little dense for not noticing, but not stupid, because it means nothing. So, that's alright. We chatted about various things until the train pulled into 7th Avenue. Preparing ourselves, we stepped off the train and into the office, only to find our worries had been unfounded. Oh, yeah! Hi! Mommy and Daddy were making sure your office stayed fine. Huh? It seems like our office weathered the storm. And just got a report confirming that all our employees are safe. Guess Mom made sure to avoid this place. Well, that's sweet of her. Even though the main street was littered with sticks and leaves, Cupid Core remained unscathed. That's sweet of our Mom. The signboard was intact, and all the glass windows remained unbroken. Maybe it's because you're here. A hint of skepticism rang in his voice as he surveyed the surroundings. You're right. I don't see anything damaged. Yeah, it seems to be fine. Looks like we dodged a blackout as well. Yeah, everything seems to be normal. With only a few employees delayed due to transport issues, it was business as usual at Cupid Corp. Could you imagine? You're like, everything is shut down because there's no power, things are flooded, and they're like, we're open, everything's perfect here, you're still coming to work, right? Typical fucking work. Typical businesses in the midst of fucking shit like this. Like, you're still coming in, right? No? No? There's a tree on my car. Yeah, but you're gonna get here somehow, right? Like, excuse me. It really must be... Oh, no, that's Shelby. It really must be thanks to you. I mean, that's not the point they're making here, but it's what the point the bitter corporate America worker feel this shit. But, you know, it's the, oh, thanks, Mom, for not destroying her business. That's nice. Everybody else is like, everybody else gets to keep going, taking days off, but we gotta go to work because our building's fine. Damn it. They'd probably stop paying you after like 2 days. They'd be like, you're not working. He muttered to himself one more time before he plunged into the day's work. While Los York was dealing with the aftermath of the hurricane, I couldn't help but think about D'Amore Paradis. The expansion project seemed to be continuing unabated, much to our dismay, which is very interesting because, okay, we came out unscathed because our mother made sure not to affect our business and stuff. So... And Raoul's not okay. But, like, we'll get to that. But, you know, so I lost my train of thought because I got distracted by Raoul and I'm talking about oysters. The weirdo. Anyway, oh yeah, our building's fine because Mom made sure to avoid it. But, like, how D'Amore Paradis being like, oh no, we rectified, everything's fixed. And it's like, that sounds sus as fuck because everybody else is scrambling to fix their shit. And this didn't get hit as hard as D'Amore Paradis because that's where the focus was. But they somehow managed to fix everything and they're back on track? I don't know. That's shady. I'm just saying. Lobster Boy's got some magic powers. This is disastrous. That expansion project could wipe out countless oysters. And then that's bad for your business too, D'Amore Paradis, because how are you going to sell oysters if you can't fire more oysters because you killed a bunch of oysters? That day, as usual, Raoul showed up to deliver his mythology lecture to Shelby. However, he seemed unusually flustered. You should be like, you know what else, Raoul? There's temples down there to Venus and Mars. Use your power to protest. Oysters? What are you talking about? The expansion project at D'Amore Paradis is threatening the oysters! I was under the impression that you didn't like oysters, Raoul. That's true, I can't stand them. They're Satan's. But this is a different matter altogether. I forgot he hates oysters. What do you mean? The oysters are dying because of the expansion project? The waters earmarked for reclamation are rich in marine life. There's a beautiful and resourceful-laden coral reef there. Resource-laden see? Right there! What was I saying? God damn it, high five, Raoul! That's what I've been bitching about the whole time. How can you just dump gravel and nobody looked and did a survey. There is a coral reef. You cannot fucking damage those. Like, that is like, you know what I mean? I guess not everywhere, but like, it isn't like in a lot of places it's fucking illegal. You have to be wary of coral reefs. You cannot damage these fuckers. Like, that's what we have governing bodies for, aside from just stupid shit. They do stupid shit, but they do useful things like this. Like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's not fuck up the oceans, motherfuckers. But like, that's why you can't use plastic straws on the beach. Most places have stopped and they do that, but that's why you had to get those soggy ass straws for a while, because turtles like to stick them up their noses. You know? So like, and that's why even back in ye oldie times, it was like when you get your sodas and they've got those little rings that hold the cans together, you're supposed to cut them apart so they don't choke seagulls. You cut them into pieces, and then seagulls eat those and probably choke them. It's not really any better, but like, you're supposed to cut the rings off so it doesn't like wrap around animals' necks. You know? I'm just saying. I remember shit like that. We used to have Earth Day. Does Earth Day still exist? You don't really seem to do anything for it, but used to do it at school. You know what I mean? Do you remember the 90s and going to the mall ever? Oh my god, I'm old. And like, there was always a fucking nature store. There was always that fucking store. And you would go in and you'd be like, look, I can adopt a wolf or a dolphin or a bit. And everything was, it was like super eco-hippie stores, kind of, sort of. You know? My mom and I went to the mall when she was here because like we were bored driving around. And I was like, I haven't been to a mall in like a decade. Probably. It's been a long ass time. So we found the mall and we went in and it was like, actually surprising that there were stores. It's just like, there are still malls? Because the other mall that used to be near where I get my car inspected and all the car place, is no longer a mall. The whole mall closed down. I don't know what they're turning it into or whatever, but it's like the entire fucking mall just closed. And it's not a strip mall. It's like a normal fucking mall. And like, so the fact that we have another one, I'm like, oh, I've been here. Because there's like restaurants and stuff kind of on the outside of the mall. You can probably get to them from the inside. I don't know. But like, oh, I've been here. Like, you go in the parking garage and you park and you go and you walk from the like parking garage or the parking area to the outside buildings, not like into the mall type of a thing. So I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, I've kind of been here, but I've never actually like, and that might be the mall that I used to go to with a friend of mine. I don't know. He always drove, and I'm like, I'm not driving to no fucking mall. But like, it's actually really nice. But they had one of those little hippie kind of stores, and I was like, oh look, this is like one of those stores from the 90s where you could like adopt a wolf and shit. You know? Now they have those bracelets where you can adopt an animal and then you track it. You know what I mean? So like, it's this. You used to get a kit, and they would have a picture, and you pay $20, and you pretended like you adopted a dolphin or whatever, and it was just, you know, into the World Wildlife Fund or whatever. But like, these are like little bracelets that have like little, like a little bead that looks like whatever animal, like a shark or a penguin or whatever. And then it's got a tracker, and you can like put your little code in, and then you can track, because they have the trackers on the animals, and then you can track your penguin, and you can watch your fucking penguin waddle around in the ice caps and shit. Like, or you watch your shark swim around in the ocean. Like, so I'm like, that's pretty fucking cool. You know? But anyway, I'm just saying, you're not allowed to, like, do shit. So how the hell is Eli getting around this shit? Did nobody surveyed to see the coral reef, let alone the fucking temples? This is sus as fuck. Like, either there are no regulations in this goddamn universe, and what the fuck, or he's bribing people and paying people off, and he's shady as shit. So anyway. If they proceed with land reclamation, it'll alter sea currents, increase the water temperature, and change the water quality. Raoul, when did you get another brain cell? Wait. Also, when did your mythology brain cell / acting brain cell become like an eco-hippie brain cell? Like, how do you know this much about this shit? I know it's like sound insulting when I'm calling him an eco-hippie, but you know what I mean. Like, I say it with love. I love the man. It's like, but like, and somebody's got to care about the environment. Seriously. Somebody has to be like this. There's got to be people like this to make everybody else understand what the fuck they're doing and to care. You know what I mean? But you gotta have somebody with the knowledge. But how does Raul have this knowledge? How did he not... What? Wait. What did you drink? Did you drink some brain juice, sir? Because you only have, like... How is he sprouting it? Like... You might have a third brain cell. I don't know. This is the most unbelievable thing that's ever happened in this game. Oysters are sensitive to environmental changes. All the ones that were supposed to flourish will die. This is environmental destruction. While I may view oysters as demonic beings, it's not right for humans to exterminate them so thoughtlessly. He's so cute. I want to cry. I hate oysters. They suck, but there's no reason to kill them. Oh, you precious, adorable idiot. I love you so much. Why are you so cute? Is that what's happening? I can't stand by and allow environmental destruction in Lost York. The natural ecosystem is a delicate balance. Any disruption could have far-reaching effects. Exactly. I can't allow it. If we continue down this path, we could face a disaster far worse than the hurricane. Especially if you piss off Mars. Raul seemed to be completely shaken up, but what he was saying wasn't wrong. If Dad's temple were also buried, a crisis far worse than a hurricane was certain. Now we're the one with one brain cell right now. He's over here like ecological disaster. This can be like a detriment to the whole ecosystem, the whole planet. This is far-reaching effects. This is not just about this tiny island. We're over there. And if Mars's temple gets devoured, oh, shit's gonna go. All shit's gonna like break loose, like whatever. And it's like they're thinking of the big. I mean, yes, that is a fact that Mars's temple is there, and that's gonna be bad. But it is just kind of funny when you look at like Raul over here talking about the climate impact and all the problems that this could arise and what it's going to have on the temperatures of the ocean and the ecosystem and all of this. And we're like, and like Mars is going to be pissed if you cover up his temple, man. When did we become Raul? When did we swap brain cells? Was it when we were making out secretly? Because like, okay. I'll talk to Gil about this. He loves oysters and might have some ideas on how to handle this. Oysters are the foundation of our friendship, after all. I must save them. And good idea. Gil could be a great ally. He also has influence as a writer. Right? I apologize, Shelby. We'll have to postpone the mythology lecture. Sure, it's all right. Oh my god. We're getting the brain trust back together to save the oysters. It's cute. Raul hastily took his leave. His departure left a vacuum, and I realized we couldn't remain idle. The wrath of the gods was a ticking time bomb. What do we do? Eli wouldn't halt his plans merely due to a hurricane, let alone attribute it to a divine wrath. And he wouldn't even consider that the wrath of the gods was the cause. The gods had few believers these days. Even if Dad summoned a natural disaster, it wouldn't deter Eli. Dad loathed the desecration of his temples above all else. If a storm failed to deter them, he might resort to more drastic measures. Again, though, I get this, but it's kind of like, don't you know anyone that you could go to any government office and be like, yo, why are you letting him do this? You're going to fuck up the ecosystem in the ocean from this, like whatever. Just so that I could be at ease and someone can go in the office like, oh, well, he paid, so like, whatever, it's because he's rich. Because like, it's killing me slowly that you don't have any kind of fucking regulations about this shit. Like, you don't have any kind of like, nothing, no environmental governing bodies here that gives a, just Raul. That's it? This is it? Because I want to say you're fucked, but actually not really, because he seems really passionate about it, and he apparently has a hidden third brain cell we didn't know about. So, could be worse. Spacey, are you all right? No, because you people don't have regulations in this world, and it's fucking crazy. Shelby interrupted my spiraling thoughts by placing a hand on my shoulder. It was then that I realized I was shaking. Shelby, if Dad gets angry, Lost York could face a catastrophic disaster, and the world will go to shit if you kill the oysters, is what I'm getting. I was concerned about your dad and about, like, the just destruction of the entire ecosystem in the ocean. And, like, ocean currents are what keep the weather going. And then, like, once that's done, we're fucked. Like, The ocean's tied to a lot of shit. We gotta be nice to her, okay? He might even sink the entire Paradise Island and potentially Lost York, too. He can sink Paradise Island. The majority of people, especially those like Eli, wouldn't attribute these calamities to the gods. I don't know. At that point, I might be like, I don't know, but that whole fucking pear-shaped island just sinking? That seems like divine intervention, especially when then all of a sudden that sinks and the land around it gets pushed up and there's magic god temples, and I'd be like, oh no, that seems a little suspicious. Right? I'm just saying. I don't know. You know? That's why you don't build your house on Indian burial grounds, man, okay? Like, we've seen this in movies. Like, consequently, there'd be no halt to the plan. Environmental degradation would continue and the oysters would die out. Next, that could possibly provoke the wrath of Lord Poseidon, the god of the seas. See, yeah, I was going to say, where the hell's homeboy? Here you go. We must act. I need to persuade Eli Omer to halt this. Spacey, calm down. I like that. I must ask him to halt this. And that was us being angry. You're like, I'm going to stop this motherfucker if it's the last thing I do! That's when you tell me to calm down. Shelby grasped my shoulders and made eye contact to soothe me. And there's nothing you can say to Eli Omer that'll sway him. I'll have sex with you if you stop? That would probably do it, but I'd prefer you didn't. He's driven solely by profits and won't listen. But we can't just stand by and do nothing. I know, and that's why I'll step in to negotiate. What? And don't worry, I will halt their plans. I will not allow them to build new facilities on your parents' temples. Despite his skepticism toward the gods, he was deeply serious about this issue. Also, again, could somebody just, maybe also, point out and be like, yeah, did you survey the area to know that there is a coral reef there, that it's illegal, I guess not in this world, to damage these things, and then you're going to kill off a bunch of oysters that are living there. Plus, there are ancient fucking Greek temples down there, so maybe don't fuck with shit. Primarily because he saw the extent of my distress. But how? I've been formulating a plan to buy the island for some time, and now it's time for me to take the offensive. I don't think Eli's gonna sell his island. Huh? A plan to buy the island? I mean, I did not see that one coming. I was aware that Shelby had been privately working on something, but this revelation was wholly unexpected. I had presumed that Shelby's secretive plan was merely to thwart Omar Holdings' attempt to seize Cupid Core. Yet it appeared that Shelby aimed not just to prevent the acquisition, but to gain an advantage over them. How are you going to buy an entire island that they own? I don't think Eli's going to go for that. I promised I would protect you, didn't I? His ice blue eyes glinted defiantly. His expression was utterly fearless. God, my throat is so dry. Not backing down. The next day, Shelby secured a meeting and we headed to Diamor Paradis as a CEO and his secretary. Which is different than every single other day when we're a CEO and a secretary. But also a husband and wife. We passed oblivious tourists who were enjoying the resort as we made our way to Mr. Omar's office. Yeah, I don't think he's going to sell the island. Does someone else own it? Hello, snail. I'm glad you could make it. I mean, it wouldn't be surprising for him to be a lobster since we married a snail, but... Mr. Omar was practically dripping with arrogance. I mean, he's dripping with drip. I mean, look at this man. He's fabulous. Like, his snatched little waist. Kind of an asshole, but, we like that. If he put on glasses, I mean, there would be no question. Though much younger than Shelby, he stared challengingly as though he held the upper hand. I mean, he kind of thinks he does. So, what will you tell me today? Have you finally decided to sell your company? Unfazed by Mr. Omar's attitude, Shelby calmly presented a prepared document. On the contrary, I'm afraid it's not what you were hoping to hear. I've brought my own proposal today. A proposal? What might that be? I assume it wouldn't make much difference at this point. Mr. Omar's tone was dismissive, but as he glanced at the document, his smug grin faded. I'm really curious. This is... Yes, it's a proposal to buy this island. You should have no objections to the terms. Or is there something you don't like? Now it was Shelby's turn to glare defiantly as Mr. Omar awkwardly smiled, reading through the proposal. There's got to be something else. You got to blackmail in there, because how are you like, here's my proposal to buy your island. If the guy wanted to buy your company, you said no, you're going to buy his island, and he's going to be like, awesome. I don't know how you thought this was going to work unless you got blackmail. You got dirt? Shelby was not one to back down from a fight. He would crush anyone who dared to challenge him. I see. So you've derived this amount from the figures I previously proposed. This is an enticing proposal. It does benefit our French headquarters and provides room for growth. No business would turn down such an offer. You seem to be rather serious. You must have researched my company well. Perhaps not as thoroughly as you researched mine. However, it seems you've made some errors in your investigations. So, it's just the amount of money. He's like, oh, well, actually, I'm swayed by money. That's it. I care nothing about this island investing you. You're handing me money. Okay. I mean, all right. Yeah, I mean, that's fair in business, I guess, because you build a bit, and Shelby loves his company, but most people yeah, I built this company, it's great, and then they roll in and I'll give you $20 million for it, and you're like, all right, check out, peace. You know what I mean? Shelby's the rare, exception. There's a small percentage would be like, no, I'm keeping this. And other people are like, bye, have fun, and taking their $20 million and running, and that's basically what's happening here. Shelby's like, no, I love my fucking bin. You're not selling it. What the fuck? And then he's like, hey, I'll buy your island. And Eli's like, yeah, you know what? Money sounds good. Don't care about besting you and making or anything out. It does. It's not that there's no logic behind it, because yes, you roll in and you want to buy the island, and he's like, sweet, okay, bye. Benefits me. But from a person who was like, oh, I'm going to do everything kind of under, I'm going to get I want your company, and then I'm going to start my own to kind of throw you out of business and take the market from you, blah, blah, blah. And then you being like, I'm going to give you $20 million to buy your island. And he's like, okay, bye. Seems a little weird. You know what I mean? But okay, sure. You tried to use my wife to provoke me, but Spacey isn't that kind of woman. We don't know that. And don't underestimate her. His declaration was full of confidence. His trust in me filled me with happiness. I admit, I may have underestimated her. There hasn't been a woman who hasn't succumbed to my invitations before. To be fair, I would be one of those. I'm not gonna lie. It was really hard. It's the very beginning, and then you got a little shady, and I was like, how are we gonna fall in love with you? But we have a save file way back at the beginning. Unlike Ryuki's, where the same file is at the end. So I feel like a lot's gonna kind of change. You know? I'm honestly taken aback. I thought acquiring Cupid Core would be a cakewalk. Regrettably, this isn't what you were hoping to hear. I've brought my own proposal today. You may have lured some of my employees away, but your strategy was careless. At present, the revenue from Diamor Paradis is offsetting the deficit of Omar Wedding. I didn't know how he researched it, but Shelby took out the financial reports of Omar Wedding. I think that was the documents that Owen delivered. I had no idea. It was true that maintaining their level of service would be a challenge. They must have enticed Cupid Core's staff, who were otherwise content with a hefty sum. But Mr. Omar was still in the red despite that. All businesses experience this phase initially. It's all part of the plan. Can you genuinely claim it's part of the plan if you're losing ground-level employees? Losing ground-level employees? I was surprised at hearing this new revelation, prompting Shelby to continue. Due to a higher deficit than anticipated, you were forced to cut their pay. Consequently, some have returned to our company. Really? Yes. Everyone's working diligently at Cupid Core now. It's as though they've woken up from a bad dream. It seems you directly persuaded them. How does a president find the time? You must be desperate. Would I be a worthy president if I didn't do at least that? A business is nothing without its employees. Good for you, because that's the truth. A lot of people say that, but do you actually believe it, though? Just saying. No matter how convincingly you spin your tales, no one will follow you without sincerity. Perhaps in your country things may be different, but Lost York is a far more unforgiving place. I'm well aware that what works in France, due to the fame of Omar Holdings, may not be as effective in Lost York. But that doesn't mean I'll easily agree to your proposal, no matter how beneficial it might be. Mr. Omar smacked the paper away dismissively and stood. I'm sorry, but I'm rejecting your proposal. Agreeing to it so readily would diminish the reputation of the Omar family. I'd be like, oh, by the way, I wouldn't try to build your extension because that hurricane's just the beginning of your problems, motherfucker. If you do it, that hurricane is because you pissed off Venus. If you keep doing it, you're going to piss off Mars. And then if you kill the coral reefs, you're going to piss off Poseidon, motherfucker. Your island's going to be tanked. So you might want to stop while you're ahead. Don't say I didn't warn you. Because, like, here's the thing. There's no way you caused a hurricane. So. And as a man, you should understand. There are times when retreat is not an option. I still wish to duel with you further. I'm not ready to admit defeat. Are you guys going to kiss now? Because, like, you seem to have an inflated sense of pride. This is like the enemies to lovers right now. You're going to make out, right? That goes for us both. Had you sold Cupid Core to me initially, you could have spent more time with her. It was your mistake not to withdraw when I rejected that. Look at how mad he is. Ooh, he's hot when he's mad. This is tense. Shelby and Mr. Omar appeared completely at odds. Fighting like cats and dogs. Oil and water don't mix. No, but enemies to lovers works out really well. And I'm just saying right now, they're like, oh, they hate each other. Yeah, they're going to get all up in each other. And then they're just going to start making out and like, and it's going to be, and you're like, what? What? Because that's what happens. They're going to make out, right? You know you want it just as much as I do. Those were the phrases that came to mind. Their rivalry was not unexpected, given that they were from competing businesses, but their contrasting personalities added to hostility. Their principles, objectives, and strategies were diametrically opposed. Wow. When was the last time you read diametric or diametrically in anything? And I'm going to be like, maybe never. I swear I've read it before in things, but it's been like 100 fucking years. Jesus. I understand now. There will never be a day when we can come to an agreement. I'm in agreement with you on that. No matter the price. You'll never sell Cupid Core, correct? Absolutely. The same applies to you too, right? Indeed. So our negotiations will perpetually be at a deadlock. How about we have a little match? A match? Yes, given that neither of us will ever agree to be on the other's will never agree to the other's terms. Yet Omar Holdings isn't so feeble that we'd close a business we've started. We'll continue as we are for now. This is a war of attrition. We'll be vying for customers and employees. I don't suppose you want both of us to weaken in this way. Of course not, but I have no intention of losing. I mean, listen, boys, I'm going to need you to make out for a minute. Kiss and make out. And make up. I'm sorry, but also make out, yeah. And then we're going to sit down and we're going to do what we should have done. You're not going to give up your island. He's not going to give up his business. Your business is tanking, so why don't you do a joint venture where Cupid instead of Omar Weddings, it's Cupid Core, that you have a branch here and you follow our business rules, but then you're making that, like, we'll split the profits and we'll find an agreement that works. Even if we give Eli a little bit more of the profits, like a 60-40 split type of a thing, or a 50-50, whatever, and we still get to run it with we keep our employees, we'll deal with, and then he's the one, you know what I mean? Like, then it works out for both of us. And then you can both stop being dicks and you can just start making out. Understood. The Omar family isn't one to let go of its prey easily. And Omar is only defeated when devoured. We won't self-destruct. I, lobsters are only defeated when devoured as well. I suppose you could say that's true of anything. You're only defeated when you're devoured. I mean, any kind of animal on the food chain is only fully defeated. Yeah, listen, I'm just anything to find to keep pointing that he's a lobster. Look, he's even got red hair. He's a lobster man. I don't understand. Listen. However, dragging this out would be time consuming. So let's settle things at the casino. I'll wager Diamor Paradis, and you'll wager what you value most. He's like, Cupid Corn, he's like, your wife. At the casino? Are you serious? Also, Shelby should be like, I am not wagering my wife. That's the right answer here. I'm entirely serious. We'll bet what we treasure most at the casino. If I win, I'll take what you cherish. If you win, you take this island. Simple, right? Yeah, no, Shelby, don't agree to this because he knows what you treasure most is me. You're wagering me. I'm a human being. This is how we end up having sex with Eli? We're a bet? Am I a bet? Am I a stupid bet? I'm literally a stupid bet. This is awesome. Okay. I'm certain you want this issue resolved sooner than later. What do you say? The island. Diamor Paradis was where we had enjoyed our honeymoon. I had an idea of its asset value from what Shelby had been discussing earlier. But wagering the island was an immense risk for the Omar family. You must be exceedingly confident. And you're not? Mr. Omar taunted him. In fact, these terms favor you. If you still turn tail and run from this match, I'd simply deem you unworthy. It's high risk, high reward. Isn't that the essence of business? This man is like so slimy, but I kind of love him. Again, his color palette is like 90%. Okay, his color palette is a huge majority of it. Like, goddamn, I love his colors. But also, like, we kind of like the shady bastards, and he is really shady. And it's like, they also made him pretty, so like, I'm not opposed. Very well. I'll accept your challenge. It was obviously bait, but Shelby took the challenge. Like, Ray could have been pretty if they didn't give him stupid fucking hair. His hair was the worst. Like, to be fair, Shelby's hair isn't the greatest, but it still has at least a couple of little floofs where, like, Ray's was plastered to his head. You'll soon regret underestimating me. I expected no less from you, Shelby. The match will be held tomorrow, here at the Diamor Paradis Casino. Let's set it for 5 p.m. Agreed. Then it's settled. To my surprise, the match was arranged with ease. Before I could fully comprehend the situation, Mr. Omar retrieved a recording device from his pocket with a smug grin. I've recorded our conversation. There's no backing out now. So you planned this all along? That's how we operate. Omar Holdings always gets what we want. Omar Holdings, a long-established company of France, it's no bluff that they've done business in many industries for years. Mr. Omar's assignment to Lost York as vice president of Omar Holdings confirmed his ability. His mission was not only to absorb Cupid Corp, but also to venture into other Lost York businesses. I will see you tomorrow, and I shall look forward to acquiring you, Spacey. I told you. Huh? What are you talking about? She has nothing to do with the wager. Weren't you listening? I said I'd bet Diamor Paradis Island against what you cherish the most. Are you implying that you value only Cupid Core and not her? I'm okay with you saying you value Cupid Core more, that is what you cherish more than me in this situation. It's okay. I'm not going to get mad. That's unfair. It's a low blow to bring this up now. Unfair? Did you genuinely believe Cupid Core alone was equivalent to the value of this island? There's a significant gap in asset value between Diamor Paradis and Cupid Core. It wouldn't be a balanced exchange. But I'm worth the island? I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you were shady, and that's super shady and devious, but it's kind of hot. I'm here for this. I'm okay with this. He's like, please, you're a piddly company? No. If I'm going to lose my island, it's for her. Thank you. Okay. That's why she's part of this wager. I desire you, Spacey. But why? Because I'm attracted to you. Isn't that reason enough? Mr. Omar's expression suggested he wasn't entirely serious. The spicy end is gonna be he wins me in the fucking thing and Shelby just wagered his wife. It's shady wording, but I told you. What did I tell you, Shelby? Don't just say yes because you know it's gonna be me. Are you an idiot? He should have been like, well, if Shelby were smart, you'd think, oh, would you cherish most? And he'd be like, no. I'll wager Cupid core, though. She's what I cherish most. Not wagering that. I will wager my business. But, like, you knew how it was going to fucking go. You knew. You saw it coming a mile away. As a former Cupid, what he was feeling was far from romantic or loving. It seemed like he was just trying to provoke Shelby. If you win, the island is yours. If I win, you'll lose everything you hold dear. It's quite an exhilarating game, isn't it? A man never reneges on his word, right, Shelby? You agreed to the match? Are you considering backing out now? Shelby looked conflicted. He felt the conditions were unreasonable. Yet backing out would signify a lack of confidence. In a duel, turning one's back meant you were easier to stab in the back. Or shoot. I smiled reassuringly at him. I'll be fine, Shelby. What do you mean? I trust you. You won't let him lay a finger on me. I believe that you'll win. Everything will be all right. Poor Shelby when he loses. Shelby looked at me, mixed emotions clouding his gaze, but a few seconds later he seemed to have made up his mind. With his arm around my shoulder, he locked eyes with Mr. Omar. Very well. The match takes place tomorrow, but you can't have Spacey. We'll see about that. It was like watching a standoff between two divine beasts. I'm just saying one is a snail and the other one's a lobster, so they're not very divine. One's very slow and the other one's the gutter trash of the ocean. But tastes delicious in butter, And French people eat snails. Wait. Somebody probably said that. Somebody probably mentioned, isn't escargot snails? Well, I'm sure there's other cultures and places that have dishes made with snails, but it's definitely a French cuisine thing that you know of. You know what I mean? So I just realized that now. So that's pretty funny because Eli is absolutely trying to devour up the snails here, quite literally. Destroy Shelby and, devour me in an inappropriate way. You know what I mean? There's many ways you could take that, and that's funny as fuck. So, bravo to anyone who caught that from the very beginning of this. And if you mentioned it, because again, you haven't seen, none of the Shelby's route has gone up yet, but goddamn, I got there eventually. See, I heard you. I heard future you making those comments or thinking French people eat snails. That sounds weird. French people eat snails. I'm sure other people do, but it's just a French cuisine thing. You know what I mean? It's not typical American cuisine. You know what I mean? So, if you went to a fancy French restaurant, you might see that, but you're not going to go to a fancy Italian restaurant and see that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of more pertinent, and it's just funny. He's still a fucking lobster, though. Anyway, sparks seemed to fly between Mr. Omar and Shelby. I mean, yeah, so that's why I'm hoping they'll kiss. Shelby then guided me away, his arm still protectively around my shoulder. I'll take my leave now. And my wife. He didn't say that, but very well. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Mr. Omar offered a composed smile as he dangled a room key in his hand. No, thank you. Shelby stared at him icily. He had a room key, and he was like, this is the room I got cameras in, because I like watching you do your wife. Woo! Anyway, we're going to wrap this part up here. I can't wait. I guarantee you this is going to be how we end up in bed with Eli is going to be, I don't know, but I don't really count that. I mean, it is infidelity, I guess, but it's not really... It's kind of non-consensual, it seems like, though, the way this is going. But, anyway. I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.